We're going to do a video here for the uh-oh, I forgot a tee box. So this would only be used way into the process. If you figure this out early, it's always best to go back into Inkscape, respline it, send it back through processing, and start with a new blender. But this would be the scenario where you've done all your blender work, you've got everything like you want it. You go into Greenkeeper and you start setting tees, which I tend to set tees early, mainly for this reason. You can find tee boxes quicker. I was doing this, I was actually adding some new tees when I started doing this, but I found a really good process. So this would be like you get into Greenkeeper, you're setting this tees, and you're like, man, there's supposed to be a tee here. I missed it. It must have been under some trees. So we're going to go back in and create one here. So we're in Blender, obviously. We're going to put where we're going to put it. We're going to tab in. Tab in. There we go. And we're going to kind of look, and you should be able to see. Now, this one's not going to be exact because it's not really a tee box, but I'm going to put it right here. We're going to make us a tee here. And you can do this a couple of ways. You can select faces, but when you do this, they're not ever perfect. Like you'll have some different little jagged spots. So a good way to do it is to use the knife function. We're going to go into vertex mode. We've got individual vertex, and we're going to make us a tee box here. So what we're going to do, you're going to hit K for knife, and then we're left clicking. Okay, so we're going to start. Let's start here. And you can go vertex to vertex, but you can also create new spots. So we're going to go there, left click, left click, left click, and just kind of click your way around. I'm not really worried about the shape here because this is a demo, but you get the idea. Left clicking, left clicking. All the way around. It's going to be kind of a crazy shape, but once we close the loop, you're going to hit enter. When you hit enter, it gives us a loop around here. Just like that. Okay. It's not a real good one, but it'll serve the purpose. All right. So now we've got to select faces. So we're going to go back to face select, and I usually use the circle. So C, and you can make this bigger or smaller. Left click and hold it down. I'm going to go around, get our layout of the tee box. And like I said, I did not make this perfect, but you can make it really perfectly round. Going to right click to get out of circle select. And we've got a decent tee box there. Okay, so we got to do a couple of things. First, we've got to make it a tee box. So we're going to go to Advanced Mesh Tools. Going to go down to Separate Editor, Separate Mesh Editor, Mesh Separate in Edit Mode. Sorry, I'll get that right in a minute. And we got to tell it what we want this to be. So we want this to be a T. We're going to separate mesh. Now, before we do this, let's go over here and let's figure out which one we're doing. We're doing 258. That way we know which one in Unity we need to disable. And you'll see right here, that one will turn gray. It'll be at hidden, and two new ones will be created. So we're going to go here, separate mesh. So now we've got a T mesh and a deep mesh 001. All right. It does not change the color. Do not freak out. Your set mesh materials work off of the name, not the color. So don't worry about that. We're going to tab out. And so right now we've got the T selected. And it's not real smooth. It's not like we want it, right? So we're going to use the T smooth. Going to flatten T. We want inset 0. Okay, that's important. Inset 0 and outside smooth 2. Real important. I like those two numbers. It gets a really good flat area. So we're going to flatten that T, make sure it's selected. flatten T. And it takes it a minute because it does do a lot of work on the outside and getting all of the vertices and everything smoothed up. All right, there we go. So we see it. So it's not great because it's kind of sunk down into the ground a little bit, right? So here is a really cool one that AFROD added, I think, in this last tool set, which is Z Shift. So it will shift the entire T-box up and it will gradually blend in all of this exterior. The that's not right. 0.5 is what I've been using, 0.5. And that seems to give a really good profile. So we're going to get 0.5 vertically shift. We've still got the T selected. We're going to shift it. And again, it takes a minute because it's doing a lot of work in the background. And like I said, now this is not your first option. This is after the fact, but you can see it's got a good slope coming down to the path. So it got a really good, you'll have to watch these. If you get really close to a path, you can get a separation. So that's why I splined it like I did. Same thing over here on the green, it raised it up a little bit. But we did good. We didn't get a separation there. But you can see it gives a good contoured T-box. So anyway, that's a after the fact kind of thing. Now what you would do now is you would have your T-box selected, hold shift, select the deep that we just cut it out of, and then those two we're going to export back into Unity. You'll have to drag them back into your meshes, and whatever 3DG you were using on your deep rough, you're going to need to add it back in because we're replacing it, so it's going to be gone. And just remember to get rid of the original deep rough mesh. Hopefully that's helpful. That's a little after the fact. We've all done it and missed T-bot, so this seems to work really good.